Hey everybody, and welcome to Horror Film Lovers Reviews. I'm your host, Jonathan Moody, and we're here to talk about Intruder. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the Blu-ray in a little bit, but for now, I want to discuss Intruder a little bit. The my review of the film, as well as my thoughts, and a little background on the film too. So, the little background on the film is that it's written and directed by Scott Spiegel, who used to work with Sam Raimi. I don't know if he's still. I'm sure he's still friends and whatnot. But Scott Spiegel worked with them since like they were young. They were part of this whole film group in Michigan that would go out and make films and basically in their backyards or in their out in the thing. And from what I remember hearing, that they would rotate directors. So, one week they'll be doing one short with one group of people. Then they would switch and people would take other roles. So some people would be like the camera operator for another short. Scott Spiegel did a short that you can find online. It's called like Attack of the Helping Hand and things like that. It's just amazing. And so they were trying to make a movie called Night Crew, and Night Crew was a short film they did in 1978 or 9, and it was right before Evil Dead got made. And they made this short film in the like I think in their own like they were able to shoot at night when they weren't working at the when they were off from working at the Walnut grocery store, Walnut Lake grocery store, or whatever it was, the shopping mall area. And they would shoot this film, a short film, and then later, Scott Spiegel talked to Sam Raimi and said, after Evil Dead, like we should make and well, Night Crew into a movie. I think Sam mentioned it because it's a simple story. It's simple, it's easy. It's like set in one location, basically. Yeah, there's like literally just in one location, which a lot of people and I talk about this all the time, which usually I don't like. But I like when they make use of a one location. It's not just like you're basically all in one room most of the time or something. That annoys me. But when you're able to go around and it's almost like you're in different locations because you're in different rooms that, to me it felt bigger. Um, and sometimes you go out of the location. So anyway, this movie took place on that, and what happened was Lawrence Bender got involved, and I guess he was a friend of Scott's and when Scott had moved to LA and had asked him if he had a feature film that could be made, very low budget, you know. And he was like, yeah, and Night Crew. And then they got Charles Band to executive produce because Charles apparently was a friend of Sam's, knew Sam and everything, which is so funny to think like Charles Band, who's full moon guy, working on a film that Sam Raimi is a part of. Just to me, that just blows my mind. I like a lot of them. They all sort of know each other. Like Sheldon Lettich knew those guys. That's the guy who directed like Lionheart and Only the Strong knew those guys. William Lustig, the Maniac Cop director, knew them. Like it's such a crazy film world where like everybody's sort of first Quentin Tarantino ended up uh meeting Lawrence because of this movie, and then they became partners, and whatnot. I mean, just so many amazing things just because people like know who each other are, and everything. To me, that's probably the best thing about independent filmmaking. Some of those guys gone off to do amazing things, and even Scott Spiegel got to direct like Hostel 3 and what's the other one? From Dusk Till Dawn 2, um, Blood Money, I want to say is what it's called. Texas Blood Money, something like that. And which was cool because they had Bruce Campbell and Tiffany Amber Thiessen in the first like, little bit of it. But anyway, then, they worked on this film and they came BFX guys and they had just some amazing people involved. Looking back at it, like the effects are just probably what make the movie the best. Like uh if the effects sucked, I think this movie would have failed in a way because it had a story, but it felt the story sort of feels very generic in a way, but most slashers do. Like that's not anything, whatever. So for them to have these really cool kills, that makes up for everything else. Um, but yeah, it was so much fun to revisit this. I had not seen this in forever. I've never owned it. Like I just bought it a few months ago or a month ago on Blu-ray from Synapse, and look in the back. I can don't know how they'll let me do that. Whoops, see? There you go. You can read that. There's got so many special features. Fuck it, I'll read it. It's got like audio commentary with Scott Spiegel and Lawrence Bender that to me will be worth watching in itself. Slash prices, the making an intruder, which was like 38 minutes, which is pretty cool. Extended murder sequences from the original work print. So extended scenes, and this is the director's cut, by the way. Outtakes from the now lost short film Night Crew, which was like 20 minutes, but they didn't have a lot of it, so it's only like 5 minutes of it. Original cast audition footage, behind the scenes gallery, and original theatrical trailer. So it looked cool. I think it looked like they uh auditioned them because I saw some of the behind the scenes, and it looked like they auditioned them in like the office of the place or something. It's crazy. You know, it was a really fun movie to revisit because I remember really liking it, but I really got into it um because of Sam Raimi. Um for a while I was going down like a Sam Raimi rabbit hole and seeing how many things were produced and directed by him or produced and starring him and whatnot. And another one of my favorite also on Synapse is Thou Shalt Not Kill Except, which the original one for it, Stryker's War, was actually, I think, helped by Scott Spiegel. So I absolutely love these things. Like I love that Sam Raimi, acts in these things. He has a little silly part. I love Ted Raimi in this, just really funny. I mean, all in all, it was a fun project. And something like my only biggest problem with it is it does that like 80s trope of trying to switch the main switch the killer on you. You're thinking it's one person and it turns out to be another. Not gonna give any spoilers. If you haven't seen it, you should probably go watch it. But I won't give any spoilers, but I'm just telling you it does that. And I don't know if that spoiled it or not, but oh well. If you haven't seen it, it's been out for a while, so go watch it. Um, and also buy that version because it's amazing and it looks great. Holy cow. On my 4K television, it looked amazing. It would be a cool one that hopefully one day gets a 4K upgrade. I would definitely be happy with that. So anyway, Intruder had this like I don't know, this just feel of what, you know, oh, my brain just completely ran off the train track. So what I was saying was like I didn't like the split of the killer because I felt like it was sort of a cop out a little bit. There's also another big twist at the end, which I mean, I don't know if I buy or not, but it didn't really matter. Um, it was there, you know. I enjoyed it. Like all in all, overall, like it's a fun little slasher. And I'm a huge fan of slashers. Like they're my favorite subgenre of horror. Like they always will be. I love werewolves and Sasquatches as well. But like slashers, give me a slasher any day, and I just feel like there's just something about it that gives me like a good feeling inside, which maybe say something about me personally. But it's one of those things where I love slashers. I love movies where people are just getting teenagers generally are getting slaughtered for no reason. And this I think they're in college or so. Um, there's also there's an actor in it who later played Roger in Pulp Fiction, and I was like, wait, which one was Roger? And I found him, and he was the guy in um the scene with Brett, and he's the one that Samuel Jackson shoots and kills and says, am I breaking your concentration? And that right there was pretty freaking awesome. That the dude was in that movie and was found, I guess, in Intruder. Intruder, Lawrence worked with them, and then I'm guessing, Tarantino was a fan. I mean, I know he's a fan of Intruder, but I'm guessing he was a fan of the guy, and he said, "Hey, I've got a part for you or whatever." So to me, that's the best thing is to look at this movie like this was a buddy movie. This is a bunch of friends going out making a movie, and then later a lot of those friends got famous, and whatnot, and moved on and did amazing things. And some of the actors, unfortunately, like Renee Estevez doesn't work anymore. And oh my gosh, she looks so adorable. Like was wanting her to be there longer in the movie, honestly. Like it would have been cool if she was the killer. Like that would have been a kind of a cool twist. I don't think they were, oh, we had Mrs. Voorhees, but anyway, I mean, and then there's the motive of the killings and stuff. And, I all in all, I enjoyed that stuff, like I enjoy hearing why, but it's so funny because there's that scene where she's like, why? And I, Elizabeth Cox, who says that, says why, and then the killer explains why, reminds me of Scream, and so I wonder if Kevin Williamson was a fan of this movie or did like when he was doing research and writing a thing, he was like, oh shit, I need a motivation. Can I have a scene where it goes, why? You know, I doubt it. I doubt it. But it's just funny to think. Yeah, he had to have seen this movie before. It was before he wrote Scream. Um, but anyway, it's such a fun flick, and once again, I'm probably gonna like listen to the commentary and check out more of the behind the scenes at some point because I really just want to know more about how they made this movie. Like the best shot in the whole movie is just this shot of the camera inside a shopping cart, and the shopping cart keeps driving by, and whatever it keeps walking. I was like, that is genius. I was like, I'm surprised nobody's ever done that before. Um, in like another movie, like involving a shopping, grocery store. So it was just brilliant. Not sure. That's why I want to listen to the commentaries and stuff. I want to know if that was Scott Spiegel or if maybe Sam Raimi said, "Hey, that would be kind of cool." Because like you think of that with Sam. Sam really does do like really neat, cool shots, and maybe Scott does too. I don't follow his career as much as I follow Sam's, Um, and I've met Sam and Ted Raimi, and I adore them both. Briefly for Sam, I had a little bit longer of a conversation with Ted. But man, like those guys seem really sweet and nice and good people, and Scott Spiegel seems like a really fucking just he's just a fan of all of this stuff. And Lawrence Bender going off making this movie and having a great time, just enjoying it. I mean, later, like I think it was only like 2 years later that they did Reservoir Dogs, 2 or 3 years later they did Reservoir Dogs, and Reservoir Dogs like really took off and it became like the movie, you know. So I would love to see this get a 4K upgrade. I mean, I know I just bought it, but literally I probably would buy it again. And I would keep this because it also, like, interestingly enough, comes with both well, you can't see that because I have it still in there, but there's also a uh DVD. Now, also came with this like really cool little Synapse booklet that has like all the different movies and stuff that they have out. So I'm definitely going to buy some more, and you'll see more of that on the Blu-ray Hunter channel. So if you ever go over there, subscribe to that as well, please. If you're subscribed to this, if you're not subscribed to this channel, please subscribe. Um, we really enjoy having, you know, the fans out there just checking stuff out. Uh, so yeah, I absolutely adore this movie. If you haven't seen it, please watch it. I think it's definitely worth your time. Um, Especially if you're into slashers like myself. I'm absolutely bar none into slashers, and I can't wait to see more of them. So if people keep making movies like this, I think I'd be happy, happy. So anyway, if you like this movie, please let me know. Let me know if you liked it. If you didn't like it, also let me know. I don't care. If you weren't a fan, that actually brings up a good discussion. Why didn't you like it? I honestly think it's very underrated and not a lot of people talk about it. Now, I don't think it's like forgotten or anything. It's not a forgotten horror classic like Paul does on his shows. But I think it's a movie that um should be talked about a lot more. I mean, especially when it comes to horror, you know. It's kind of sad they didn't do anything with that eyeball. It was like an eyeball and it was in a bunch of grapes, and it would have been fun if, or olives or whatever it was, and it would have been fun if the Sam Raimi, I think it was, that was looking through them, would have picked it up and tried to eat it, not thinking about it. It's like, but then it would have shown that there was a killer there. So we, the audience, knew that was there, but not many people did. Um, so yeah. Anyway, that's it. That's all my review of this movie. If you enjoyed it, great. If you didn't, let me know. All right. Have a good one. Bye.